Because in this collective reading, it's definitely talking about um, needing to simplify things, just sort of universally speaking. Um, so it really is. It's talking about moving away. You may have a lot of sort of abundance in flashy ways, whether that's things or spending a lot of time like out and about or at restaurants, or but the focus, it seems like it's the cards are saying consistently in this reading, hey, the focus has been on um, taking assessment of how you are doing by outward standards and societal standards. So, how do things look, right? Does your job look good? Do your clothes look good? Does your car look good? Is the person on your arm a good match for you? You know, and they're saying, sort of, it would be wise, since this is for the collective. They're saying, really, it's time to turn inward and take stock of all the things that you find there, to spend less time with the flashy things and the flashy parts of life, and um, on focusing on appearances, and spend more time enjoying all the other gifts that you have been given in life, but by which they mean the things you were born with, not the things that you have been able to purchase, or even if you were born into a wealthy family. They're talking about your gifts, your natural born gifts. So they're sort of saying, hey, there's a pretty strong focus on the outward and how things are looking and society and all of that stuff, and it's going to serve everyone extremely well if they pause that and step away from that flash for a moment and let their eyes readjust to the normal light, and not this fancy metaphorical strobe light of the fancy nightclubs and stuff, and then take stock in their quiet spaces in their homes, within themselves. There's a lot of taking stock within yourself, like, if I didn't have any of this, right? If my power was shut off and my internet was shut off, what would I want to be doing here? What about me would I want to be improving? Is it my imagination? Is it my some sort of skill? But again, it's like it's a skill that is non-digital, non non-fancy, right? So the types of things that they're talking about are they're painting, sewing, cooking, singing, all things you can do with very little supplies or money. They're wanting everybody to first take stock of how to do that to entertain themselves. And at least if you're not going to do it like completely, if you're not going to really literally unplug, right? But they're saying spend some good time, whether you're journaling about what you really enjoy about yourself, completely stripped down of all artifice, and what things and natural born talents you have, and why you enjoy them. And then, like, if you love to sing, spend some time singing. If you love to cook, spend some time cooking. It's not just about what you're good at, it's about what you love. And then they're saying bring it a little bit out from yourself and within your like tiny circle, your home, maybe your immediate friends or family, really do sort of more old-fashioned things with them, have a lot more conversations, um, rather than sitting still and watching TV, or sitting there and playing a video game. Play a board game instead. Um, instead of just looking at their digital social media wall to see what they're up to. Ask what they're up to, and then if it's something that's digital, they're saying then ask more. Ask, well, what about books? What books do you like? Or what do you like to do without technology? What are things that you really enjoy? And talk about those things. Um, they're saying there's going to be an amazing amount of happiness in that for all of us. Um, we're going to find that we feel considerably, if we start um, doing this kind of stuff. Well, this is just for this week, right? But they're saying try it this week, and if, gosh, there's certain things you find you absolutely love to do and you forgot, do more of them, even if that means you're off the internet. Um, Try to do more of those things because a lot of good things will come if you just add a little bit once you do the self-exploration about um, what are the things that I love to do, and let me find out about the people in my home too. What are things that we can do together? Once you've spent some time figuring that out and dabbled a little bit in what those things are, they're saying, honestly, there might come a time, I'm not sure what this means. I'm not going to even jump to any kind of conclusion. They're saying there might come a time when it will be really important that you know what makes you happy without all those frills. I don't know what that means, and I don't want to jump to conclusions or make any assumptions, but they're just saying, hey, it might be smart to know what you like to do without technology just as much, um, and to practice that because it is something that we're all out of practice, playing a board game instead of a video game, and reading a book instead of Reddit, and you know instead of doodling on our tablet, doing it like just on a piece of paper. They're also saying if we just add that into our practices, I don't know, just a little more than we normally do it, we're going to find we feel less stingy about the cash because we're going to be sort of shocked at the fact that whatever a lot of people anyway are going to find that, oh my gosh, I reduced, the number of times I rented movies or games, or I reduced the number of times that I paid for this or that online, and I'm feeling less like anxiety about my money situation just by these tiny choices. And there are things that I find I really enjoy to do. The best things in life are free kind of situations, and they're saying just putting a little bit more of this into practice is going to improve the overall happiness of everyone involved. Um, and I'm hearing now, though, like, of course, it's good for everyone. And I mean, like, it ends with the the sun supported by the Nine of Cups, which is optimism, joy, happiness, vitality, right? If you if you start practicing these things, you're building up some peaceful space in your mind and also in the energy around you, because when those devices run 24/7 around you, they create energy of their own kind. So they're saying it sort of would serve as an energy clearing and a mind clearing, and you'll rediscover things that you like to do, and who knows, those could be things that you like to share with others. It could wind up being lucrative, I'm not sure, but they were saying a minute ago that not only will you be happier as long as you're just doing this moderately. They're not saying become a homesteader, but just find a couple of things to replace some of the electronic things you do just for this week and see what happens. And they're saying, my gosh, one thing is for sure. The animals around you that you love and that love you, and the children around you that you love you, are going to really enjoy that. Of course, the kids, there might be some parts where it's like if you told them to get off their electronics, of course, they might be feeling a certain type of way. But if the only time you ask them to get off their electronics is to come play Scrabble with you or Monopoly, I think it looks like their mood would change really quickly. It's just looking like they're trying to remind us how to connect without the ability, without the internet, sort of, and video games and things. And there is an indication that if we practice that, no matter what happens in the future, and there is some sort of reference to a future where, you know, we might need to be okay with being without the tech. But that could be any number of things. Just look at all the things that have been going on, just with the weather and things, and all of the people who have been out of power. And so even when it's not been an absolute disaster, people are still running out of power, and they're going through huge, enormous tech withdrawal. They don't know what to do with themselves, and they're standing somewhere funny in their neighborhood trying to get a Wi-Fi signal, when they're saying if we just add just the teensiest bit of non-digital play and enjoyment into our life every day, add just a little bit, then when the time comes, if the time comes, but when the time comes that it's something that's important to do, that you're not able to access these other things, it won't be so shocking, and it won't feel so terrible, and it won't feel like like a withdrawal. It'll be like, you know what, I'm awake to this, and I accept myself enough to know that I'm enjoyable to spend time with just myself, and I can be happy just singing today and playing board games and card games and playing ball with my dog and that kind of stuff. Um, and so that's what I would say, is that they're just advising that you take, it's almost like adding a vitamin or something, or a supplement to your diet. They're saying add the vitamins or supplement of non-digital enjoyment to your life. And you can play around on your own and figure out whatever that is to you. Books, board games, crafting supplies, um, gardening, juggling, hula hoop, fire wrangling, I don't know, but they're just saying really, really, really take it like medicine, just a little bit every day. And so that if there comes a time where maybe we're stuck back at home and there are power failures or something, we're not. Also, the other thing is, I just heard a guide say, when that stuff happens, when the power goes down, and we're not used to entertaining ourselves in different ways, and we are powerful manifestors, everything gets all messed up for a while, right? Because there's just a couple days there where we're without that power, and we're like panicking and setting up.
Did your audio just disappear?
Crap. We've enjoyed ourselves in that window of time, and so then the next things that are coming towards you, because you've manifested them, are of much greater peace. They hold much greater peaceful value, when you're not suffering through withdrawals, because you know exactly what makes you happy without a computer. So that's just the general collective advice. I'm tempted to, but I'm not going to pull a card about why they're saying, hey, you might need to know how to do this, because the thing is, the future is always changing, and there's free will, and there's all kinds of things that can change anything from one hot minute to the next. So they're just sending us the loving message and an idea of, hey, this, you should practice this. We love you, and if number one, this is just something you need to do to be happier and healthier in general. You need to add a little bit every day, but also, then if anything were to happen, my goodness, you'd be much happier. And then, in spite of other things that might be going on, that might be something that make you nervous or distressed, and you won't be adding on to it, going through these technological withdrawals or not knowing how to spend time with your family, because you'll automatically be prepared emotionally just as much. like a lot of people talk about prepare a go bag if there's a national disaster or a flood or whatever, but they don't talk about prepare yourself, prepare your psyche, prepare your body and your mind and your spirit for um, how to entertain yourself and how to find joy if there comes a time where you need to do it offline. And I think that's sort of what they're talking about. So um, Kat says she wants to juggle fire hula hoops. I love her. Um, I always love her sarcastic sense of humor. But so yes, that is the um, quite lengthy, or lengthier than I intended because I always talk too much. Reading for the collective to be for from September 6th through September 13th. I'm going to kill the live stream in just a second. Joe, thank you for coming. Kat, thank you for coming. I'm probably going to be talking to you both more here in just a minute. Um, I really enjoyed this, even though there weren't many of us here. This was a fun time, and I look forward to a future when more and more people come and enjoy the space that we're starting to build. So sending everybody love and light and fiery, juggly hula hoops, and we'll talk to everyone really soon.